Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to go ahead and start out by saying this video is not going to be like one of my typical ones where I'm coding or doing a PCB design or doing anything on mechanical keyboards. As a matter of fact, today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be taking a look at some handhelds and seeing if we can restore them. So the TLDR is that I've really been getting into restoring handheld consoles. There's just something about them that's really cool and just reminds me of how I used to play video games when I was a kid. This is all coming from my new desire to restore handhelds. It kind of reminds me of playing video games when I was like a little kid. And in this video, I'm going to walk through my latest excursion, which is going to involve trying to restore not one, but two PSVitas that are in various states of disrepair. The only thing I'm really hoping for with the handhelds is ideally I can restore both of them to a functioning order, but at the very least I would like to at least get one fully functional PS Vita, so that way I can play it and play the games that I've been wanting to get it for. All right, so let's start things off by just explaining kind of how I even got here in the first place. And it all started with this handheld. Specifically, it was this cute little Game Boy SP that I had restored. At the same time, one of my friends, he restored a Game Boy Advance. It was a really cool thing to do. I had bought the Game Boy SP and I just did quite a few mods on it. So I did a shell swap, I swapped the buttons, I installed a USB-C port, a better screen, better battery. And yeah, I mean, it just looks really cool. I love the transparent look of handhelds. So getting this shell was just an amazing addition. And I've been enjoying playing video games on it. Specifically, the games I've been playing the most are the old Yu-Gi-Oh games, because those are games that I just absolutely put a ridiculous amount of hours into as a kid. And on top of that, as I've been playing the Yu-Gi-Oh games, I've started kind of collecting them and wanting to play all of the ones that exist. But there is a series, the Tag Force series, and it was only released on PSP. So at this point in time, I didn't have a PSP, so I decided I was just going to buy one. I went on eBay, found a pretty good mint condition one, and I ordered it, and man, it just looks amazing. I mean, it's a fully transparent shell, which in case you haven't figured it out, I absolutely love that. And it just reminds me of the PSPs that I had in the past, and it's really cool. And I'm super excited to actually start playing some of the games on it. The problem is though, pretty much immediately after I purchased, I realized that I probably should have just purchased a PS Vita. The PS Vita would allow me to play both the PSP and PS Vita games. And on top of it, I never actually owned a PS Vita when I was younger. So it'd be really cool to finally, have that as like a check mark on my to-do list. I decided to turn to eBay once again and try to look for a PS Vita. The problem was, one, they were more expensive than the PSPs were, and then two, I had already spent the money on the PSP and I just really wanted it to come on in, so I didn't want to cancel that order and worry about not getting my full amount of my money back. So I told myself if I could find a Vita cheap enough, I would purchase one. And I decided to put some offers on two PS Vitas that I found that were marked for parts, because the idea was if I could get two Vitas for the price of one functioning Vita, then it'd be totally worth it. Yeah, that was 2 a.m. logical thinking, because what you're probably screaming at the camera saying is, well, what if you can't fix them? Or even if you can fix them, what if you end up spending more on a whole bunch of parts? And you're probably right. I'm probably going to spend more on the parts. I figure at the very least, it might be kind of fun to take a look, try this for myself, try actually restoring a non-functioning handheld system. If I can restore both of them, it'll be totally worth it. Yeah, so now that we've gotten all the backstory out of the way, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the two Vitas. All right, I'm going to kick it off with the black PS Vita. So it actually has quite a bit going on with it. Some pretty big scratches on the screen. And this is the first gen one, so it has the proprietary charging port, I guess. Pretty scratched up. Like if we zoom in here a little bit, you can kind of see how scratched up it is. See, I think it came with it did. It came with a memory stick. I didn't realize this is a 3G model. It came with a SIM card. So I gotta remember what the description on this was though. Hold on, let me actually look it up. So the black Vita, they said it won't charge up or turn on. So they said they had no idea what's wrong with it. So that's it. So I don't know what else is wrong with this, but they said it won't charge up at all or turn on, and they had no idea what was going on. So what I'm gonna do, we're just gonna try plugging up the charger and see if that does anything at all. dust off the port, and then we're gonna take the, right, so trying to plug in the PSP now. Okay, so the LED cuts on. So yeah, so it's not doing anything other than the logo is on. So it does seem like it's trying to charge. So let's just, take the back off. Oh no. Whoa. A few pieces came off here. There's the bumper button and whatnot. So yeah, that's where the battery was connected. So we can check the battery's charge level here in just a minute. I'm just curious to see like what happens when you plug it in now that battery's not connected. Like I wonder if that makes any difference. So without the battery in, there's no like PlayStation logo lighting up. Let's grab a replacement battery. I only had it ordered for replacement. The interesting thing is I don't know if I think I ordered this for the right model. Go on here. All right, new battery. Oh, whoa, hey. All right. Well, it cuts on, so that's great. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it seems like maybe it just had a bad battery. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. This battery would be really old too. But it seems like it's cutting on just fine. You can see though, there is burn-in to the screen. Like it's hard to tell on this video. You probably can't see that, but there's definitely like burn-in to the screen. And yeah, the console seems like it cuts on just fine. So that's awesome. So like it cuts on, which is really, really cool. I actually don't have any Vita games yet, so I'll have to go get one so I can test all the buttons and just make sure all the buttons are working appropriately. And then I can, put together a list of parts. For this Vita, I think the biggest thing I need to get is, new screen. Well, the new shell in general. We already had the battery, which is good, but I'll test everything else, like the speakers and everything, and see. But the biggest thing is like it cuts on. So honestly, I don't really think there's much we have to do here at all. So yeah. Okay, so the white Vita, this is the like 2000 series. It's just got the game port up top. I still got a camera, still got the rear facing camera. I don't think there was any difference in the quality, the main like memory slot or whatever. And then it has a micro USB for the charging port. But let's read the description of this one and see what it says. It says PS Vita 2000. It says the LCD actually looks clear when it's on. Pad, L button, and the home button are apparently not responding. Button's not working. So let's go ahead and just cut it on and try to see. Let's try to cut it on and see what we can see. So we see the actual like Sony logo. Let's go to the welcome park. Let's see what that is. Maybe that will allow us to like test out all the buttons and things. So it's saying press the home button. So that's one thing they mentioned, right? The home button isn't working. The speakers seem okay. But the touch panel works, the cameras work, but apparently a lot of the buttons don't work. So that's what we need to actually try out. We'll put replacement parts. These really just pop apart. That came right out of there. I don't think that was supposed to come out of there like that. That one's a real problem if the home button doesn't work. So yeah, so here's the actual like home button. Yeah, so the left seems to work just fine. So yeah, so this is definitely like kind of like busted. Yeah, so I'm wondering if it is just something with this grounding plane. What's going on in here? Like, because of when we take this up, I don't know, it's working just fine. Yeah. Okay, home button is not working again. Yeah, so it's working, but it's working pretty intermittently. I wonder if there's just something wrong with this flex cable. Like, I just wonder if like reseating this is gonna be the problem. Oh, I see what's wrong. Never mind. Look. You see, it's torn, and because it's torn, that's what's causing the issue. But one thing that's super interesting to me, and one thing I need to figure out is how this cable connects, because I think like that might require more replacement than I'm thinking. I think everything else is good. I could check the headphones. I haven't done that. Maybe I will do that before I order everything else. Let's recap kind of all the parts I'll need. For the PS Vita 1000, I'll need a new battery, which I already have actually, a replacement screen and its shell. I'll probably also replace the buttons and things, but yeah, so That's pretty much all I actually really need there. And then for the 2000, I also need a new battery. That one I will have to order a new shell, the power switch cable, because that's preventing it from cutting on and preventing that left side from working. And I'm also going to go ahead and get a replacement left side PCB. So yeah, with that being said, the best place I could find the parts was AliExpress. So it is going to take a while for everything to come in. But once it does, we'll be able to put everything together, and I'll see you all when the parts get here. After a few weeks, all the parts are finally here. So I ordered everything that I mentioned above, but one interesting thing that I stumbled across was this video by Zach Builds. He added a PS Vita to SD module in place of the 3D modem inside of the 3G PS Vita. I didn't realize that mine was the 3G PS Vita at first, so I went ahead and ordered one, and I'll be adding that to my build as well. So that way I can still use the actual PS Vita game slot if I want to. But all right, enough waiting. Let's go ahead and get into restoring the actual Vitas now that we have all the parts. Now, last one I wanted to touch base on was the PS Vita 2000.
So we'll put our buttons back in. Right PCB back on.
So it started by testing that actual replacement cable.
All right. And now the last bit, now that I've struggled through that, is just getting on the new cable. Yeah, it looks to be in pretty good shape. Yeah. There she goes.
And once I was sure that the replacement cable for the power button on the left side was working, I decided to go ahead and, do the full replacement of the screen and the shell. So the 2000 actually has way less parts inside of it, and that makes sense. So it's actually way easier to disassemble than the 1000. But the pain in the back piece was this.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this goes on. Like, if this is supposed to go on as like one whole piece, or if it seems like the answer is no. It seems like the answer is like
I had to add this sticker onto the back of it to, sort of cover, and it's just an aesthetic sticker to cover the back where the touch panel sort of is. But man, it was incredibly difficult to get that off and get it lined up just right. I think I did an okay job, but maybe I could have done it better. Either way, that was definitely, ironically, the most difficult part of this was putting on a sticker.
yep. Peel. I did a factory reset as well. Dude, sick. Oh, that's right. Pulls it out of the ether. It looks pretty damn good. So yeah, doesn't feel very substantial though. It definitely feels like a toy. It doesn't feel like the 1000 at all. But cool.
Then I moved on to the PS Vita, the 1000. I mean, that one was fairly cut and dry because again, all the hardware worked just fine. So I ended up, taking it apart so that way I can completely replace the shell module. So that was one thing. It's kind of annoying to replace this screen on these. You have to take the whole thing apart. And this one has a lot of pieces to it. But either way, it wasn't that bad ultimately. And then before I sealed it up, I also added that PS Vita to SD module that I mentioned and populated the SD card inside of it so we can use it later for storage. And there you have it, both of the units fully assembled and all for the price of one mint condition PS Vita. So actually, there's a good point. I know you all are gonna ask how much this costs, so I did go ahead and write down the numbers. All in, it cost me about $524.36. That includes the price of both of the units and then all the parts that I purchased separately to restore them. So that works out to being about $262.18 per unit, which I think is a really great price. I mean, you saw how they looked at the end. They look absolutely amazing. They look brand new, like they're out of the box, and they have way more functionality than the units had when they were originally sold in stores, which is really, really cool too. So maybe if you're interested and in the market, I definitely recommend maybe restoring one. Might work out to be a little bit better. Also, when I did look up the mint condition prices on eBay, I was seeing it was anywhere from about $300 to $350 for a like new edition. And I think these might even be a little bit higher quality than that. So I'm really happy with the number overall, well below the target for what I would have paid to get them individually in a better condition. That brings me to the question, you know, was it worth it? And I think for me, 100%, I really enjoyed working on them. They took a lot less time than I thought because they were actually in fairly good condition, but working on them really was really cool because it gave me this feeling of, you know, I was like saving them from probably being scrapped or something because somebody else wasn't going to take the time to restore them. So it's really, really cool. Now these consoles are going to have brand new life breathed into them. And it's also made me start to think about some other stuff that I can do with them. Like there is a whole homebrew scene for PSVitas, and there's all sorts of other cool stuff that I've been thinking about that maybe we can do. So if you're interested in that, like let me know, and maybe I'll have to make a future video about that. But outside of that, I want to thank you all so much for watching the video. I know this wasn't the typical Shandon Codes sort of video that I normally like make, but I appreciate you all just being with me and just taking the time to go through something as nerdy as PSVitas. But yeah, so if you liked the video, you know, let me know down below. If you got thoughts about this video or any other video upcoming or maybe in the past, please do put it down below. Happy to look through those comments. I read every single one. I'm super excited to see what you all think of this one. And yeah, I'll have to see you all in the next one. And remember, stay stupid.